Hi, my name's Dave Kilminster and welcome to my instructional DVD. Obviously designed to supercharge your playing, give your soloing a little bit of a boost. I think most guitarists would like an extra burst of speed now and again, and I guess if you think about all the classic solos, the end of Dire Straits' Salt and the Swing with a little arpeggio section in there, the end of Stairway to Heaven with the final little pull-off thing. It just adds that little bit of excitement. So these exercises are not necessarily going to turn you from B.B. King clone to Yngwie Malmsteen stunt double, but I guarantee if you work through them, you're gonna see some great results. So without further ado, let's start off with part one. Okay, welcome to section one. Today we're going to be focusing on the left hand, the fretting hand only. Okay, what we're going to try and do is develop a certain amount of strength and control in the left hand. You may have seen the Jason Becker DVD where I believe he's on stage in Japan and he's doing this kind of crazy legato stuff with one hand, and he's got the yo-yo happening with the other, which is absolutely ridiculous. But obviously that's the kind of control that we're going to be aiming for anyway. So what we're going to do is concentrate on the left hand only. The great thing about this exercise as well is it will help to build up the calluses on the tips of the fingers as well. And this will improve everything about your playing. This will improve the sound of the chords, whatever. You know, if you've got soft fingers and you're trying to produce a good note, it's generally not going to happen. Okay, so one of the slightly unusual things about these exercises, it also involves hammering with the first finger. Now, generally, if you think about it, you don't really hammer with the first finger at all. It just kind of sits there and the other fingers do the work. So we're actually going to be trying to get all four fingers operating individually. So what I'm probably going to do to begin with is just hold the guitar neck here so the strings are dead. And then we're going to run through a simple minor pentatonic scale. We'll start off with, probably do D minor pentatonic. Okay, the notes are D, F, G, A, and C. And we're just going to start off fairly easily at the 10th fret. And this is just going to be concentrating on hammering on. Okay, so hammer on with the first finger at the 10th fret on the D. And then next note's going to be the F on the 13th fret. I want you to use the little finger for this. Okay, really need to get used to using the little finger as much as possible. G on the A string, 10th fret. A on the A string, 12th fret. C on the D string, 10th fret. D on the D string, 12th fret. Then we're on F on the 10th fret of the G string. G on the 12th fret of the G string. A on the 10th fret of the B string, C on the 13th fret, again with the little finger, D on the 10th fret of the top E string, and F on the 13th fret of the top E string. Now you notice that the last two, especially the top E string, is very, very difficult to get good notes out of, so you really need to hammer on quite hard with that. So just very, very slowly, we're just going through this. The great thing about this exercise, it doesn't matter what tempo you do it at, because it's just going to be doing you good, whatever. So here we go, 3 and 4 and... You can either do it separately like that or make it sound a bit more legato like that. So that's just working on the hammer-ons. Reverse of that is obviously going to be pull-off. Now this is slightly more difficult, I believe. Hammer on with the 13th fret on the note F, and this time you need to pull off with the little finger, just slightly with a slight downward motion, so that you actually produce the note D on the 10th fret from the E string. Next two notes on the B string. Hammer on the C on the note on the B string, and again slight downward pull to produce the A. Slightly easier now with the third finger on the G string, 12th fret. Slight downward motion again to produce the F. Hammer the D, pull off to the C. Hammer the A, pull off to the G. Hammer the F, pull off to the D. Okay, so that would sound like this: 3 and 4 and. Okay, if we combine the two things together. You'll probably notice a lot of guitarists, especially from the sort of 70s and early 80s, a lot of their faster work generally comes mainly from the left hand. Okay, it wasn't really till rock players of the sort of mid-80s that people started doing the picking, which we will get onto later on. Okay, to make that a little bit more interesting, we're going to try going up in 3 strings at a time. So that's going to sound a bit like this. So in other words, we're going to start on the bottom E string, go up the first 3 strings, and then go back to the A string, and then go back to the D string, and then go back to the G string. So I just do that slowly. Whoops. And same thing in reverse. I'll just slow that down a little bit. As I said before, it doesn't actually matter too much. At the moment, it doesn't matter too much how fast you play this. We're more interested in accuracy and coordination here. So I'll just do that. We'll try that together slowly. 3 and 4 and. And one more time going up as well. 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's the first bunch of exercises. Next thing we're going to do is try them out with the other shapes of the minor pentatonic scale. I'll tell you what, let's go down to begin with. We'll go down to what's generally regarded as shape 5, possibly because it starts on the 5th note of the minor pentatonic scale, which is the C. Okay, so again, it's the same notes, slightly different inversion here. So we've got C, D, F, G, A, C, etc. So it's the same notes. If you don't know the 5 positions of the D minor pentatonic scale, get a neck diagram, find out where the notes are, and just colour them in so that you know what we're doing here. Okay, so I'm just going to run through the first 2 exercises, which were just simply hammering up the scale and then pulling off back down the scale. 3 and 4 and. And then pull off. Okay, you might notice the fingering I'm using as well. I've basically, the way that I play pentatonics for exercises, I will assign a specific finger to cover a specific fret. So in other words, everything on the 8th fret is going to be covered by the 2nd finger, everything on the 7th is with the 1st, and everything on the 10th fret is played with the little finger. Now this is obviously a good little finger workout as well, so really trying to, at the moment, trying to avoid trying to do everything with the 1st and 3rd fingers. Okay, so next thing to do is to try that ascending and descending in groups of 3, so let's just try that together. 3 and 4 and. And then pull off 3 and 4 and. Okay, it's really important. I haven't mentioned this yet, but it's very important to actually breathe. Oh, obviously it's important to breathe, but to breathe as normally as you can when doing these exercises. A lot of guitarists have this problem where they will actually hold their breath when they're doing exercise. And this has the unfortunate disadvantage of slows your blood circulation, which means your fingers get a bit cold and they get a bit clammy. And it also means that you're tensing up certain parts of your body which you don't want to. You'll find if you watch any great guitarist that's playing fast, they make it look easy. And the reason it's easy is because they're relaxed. If you tense your fingers and try and move them really quickly, they don't really want to go. It's only when they're relaxed that they kind of move well. So try and bear that in mind as we go through this. I've covered some of this stuff in my other instructional DVD called Killer Guitar, which you might want to check out as well as this. Okay, moving swiftly on. Let's try D minor pentatonic shape number 4. Again, probably referred to as shape number 4 because it starts on the 4th note of the minor pentatonic, which you'll see is D, F, A, G. It's on an A, okay? So there's the A, there's the C, D, F, G, A. I'll reiterate about this right hand. The right hand is actually not doing anything other than just keeping all the strings quiet. I have also got, sometimes people ask me why I've got a little girly hairband there, and it's for that very reason. So it also acts like a little mute there. So maybe I'll use this for the next bunch of exercises. So again, we just do exactly the same thing again. Not quite as good as having the hand there, but live you get away with that, no problem. So let's just try that together slowly. 3 and 4 and... 3 and 4 and... Okay, groups of 3 and 4 and... And then reverse 3 and 4 and... Okay, now obviously there's loads of variations. Hopefully you're already thinking, well, what happens if you do pull-offs going up the neck and then hammer on back down? So that would sound a bit like this. Okay, loads of different variations. I just want to make sure that we go through every possible position of the D minor pentatonic, though, because I always say this in class when I'm teaching. I'll say, okay, well here's a bunch of exercises around this position, but you should practice it in all 5 positions. And I know full well that people don't bother, so this is a guaranteed way. If you're playing along, then you're going to cover all 5 positions of this. Okay, let's go up to. I think I'm going to play shape number 3 up here. So let's go to shape number 2, which starts on the 2nd note of the D minor pentatonic scale, which is a note F. So to begin with, just play the scale shape straight up. Starts on an F, G, A, C, all exactly the same notes. Okay, 3 and 4 and... And backwards. Groups of 3 and 4 and... And backwards, 3 and 4 and... Now you probably notice I'm still using the 1 finger per fret idea here, so everything on the 13th fret is with the 2nd finger, everything on the 15th is with a little finger. I mean, obviously if I was playing If I was halfway through a gig and I had my foot up on the monitor and the wind machine's going and stuff, I wouldn't necessarily use this fingering. So I'm using basically the second and fourth for the top two strings here. It's far more common for guitarists to play it like that, but that's not going to help you strengthen up the little finger, which you're going to need for later on. Okay, so final position, shape number 3, starts on the 3rd note of the D minor pentatonic scale, which is the note G, and so again we just do the same exercises, straight up, straight down, 3 and 4 and. And back down. And going up in groups of 3. Now you might notice I cheated slightly on the fingering of the last one. I've left shape 3 till last because of this this little shape here that shifts up a semitone. You've got the notes A and C on the 14th and 17th frets of the G string, and the D and F, which is on the 15th and 18th, so it's a semitone higher. For that kind of shape, I would generally use the 1st and 3rd, and then 1st and 4th. So if you see that the 3rd finger and little finger are basically staying in pretty much the same position, the 1st finger just simply jumping between the 14th and 15th frets. Okay, so that concludes our first look at working on the left hand.